everyone and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. This is Leslie and today I'm doing a layout for the Paper Issues design team, and I have to scrap lift the wonderful layout done by Cassie, and here it is. As you'll see, there's a lot of vertical aspect going on. There's lots of rainbow colors. Along with the vertical aspect, there's also a lot of horizontal. So there's lots you can do with this layout. And I am going to do this photo, scrap this photo of my daughter. You can't see it so clearly in the photo, and I tried to edit it so that you could see it more clearly, but her little dress is a very dark navy blue, and yeah, I couldn't get the coloring right, so it looks black, but it's really dark navy blue, as well as the patterns on the chair she's sitting on. So what you can see, however, is her beautiful blue eyes in the photo, and so I thought I would play with the blues, and I went into my crepe paper and I pulled out some Flourish and some Wild Heart. So I'm going to be playing around with that. I thought I might use a doily because it's to add a little bit around the edge there of the photo, and I pulled out all the blue scraps I have, and some of the ephemera, the beautiful blue flowers, the tag, the labels, frames, and so on. And you'll see that lots of branding strips that I have in here. So I am going to be building my vertical aspect on this side of the page as she is looking up, and I wanted her to look to the inside or to the middle of the page. And then the horizontal aspect, what I talked about, was all the little rainbow bits that Cassie laid horizontally like this. So there's a vertical and a horizontal. So I am going to be playing around with these. I pulled out some, this is from One Canoe 2. I'm not sure what collection it's from, but I thought I would use this title, or just say Life is Darling, and the arrow, or something like that. And this is from the Wild Hearts collection. I love the leaves, so I thought I'd bring in some of the leaves. And yeah, so another Wild Heart. So I'm going to play around with this, and then we'll see how it ends up. So I'm going to put you on fast forward now, and then we will see what this ends up looking like in the end. Okay, so you can see that I'm straight away starting with my layering for behind my photo, and I'm cutting the inside of that little frame out because I wanted to tuck the bottom right hand corner of my photo into that frame. I also use a tag for the layering behind the photo. And then I'm going to come in with those branding strips, and I'm just going to be layering them behind the photo so that there is some blues scattered around, some dark blues, light blues. Some of the branding strips have a little black line on them. Some are a little bit heavier on the black, like those ones I just put behind there with the black floral motifs and things like that. The other thing that I'm going to be layering is also some of the journaling cards that come in the ephemera pack. I haven't used them, and I don't think I will use them, so I'm glad I got to use them in this layout. I had a lot of blue left from this collection, and I really liked the fact that I got to use some of it. I was really thinking how I could use it, and I'm going to be using that. Now I am going to cut out this camera, but then I realized there's a camera on the chipboard sheet and it had gold in. So the gold really balanced the gold in the leaf of the big blue flower on the top right hand corner of my photo. And I really like the way that she looks you know, to the center of the page, and she sort of looks off the page, and I really like that. And I wanted to use that that little sticker that says smile, because she has the sweetest, cutest little smile. She's got such a shy smile, and the most beautiful little thing. So I do want to do something in the background. I think Cassie did something on the background as well, and I think I'm using some basil marshmallow cardstock, and this is a thicker cardstock, so I'm not going to put any gesso on it. And I was thinking I would use just a sort of a wide-ish soft bristled brush and make big strokes just haphazardly on that side of the paper that I was going to be placing all my embellishment clusters on. So I waited for it to dry. It didn't take too long to dry because I didn't add too much. The paint wasn't too thick, and it's acrylic paint, so it does dry quickly, and it absorbs really nicely into this marshmallow cardstock. And as I said, I didn't put any gesso on it, and the paper didn't warp at all, and it was pretty fine. I really like the way the black stripes at the back sort of brings out that dark in her dress. And as I said before, her dress is actually a really dark navy blue, but I couldn't get the colors right when I was editing the photo to, you know, so that it looked bluer, because if I made the photo lighter, her face would become white because she's so fair. So I had to leave her dress a bit darker in the end. And I'm bringing in my T-square ruler here just to make sure that everything is quite straight. Now, I'm not always very particular about placing my things perfectly straight, but in a layout like this, where everything, you know, where there's a very pronounced horizontal aspect to the layout, where there's layers and the little lines of the branding strips and the way I placed them, I really feel that you should be using a branding strip, because it's very easy. You place one of those little papers a bit skew, and then everything goes skew from there on. So unless you want to do it you know, on purpose, and you have a very skew layout, which is perfectly fine, because then it becomes diagonal. But for something like this, that I didn't want any diagonal aspect to it, I did use my T-square ruler. And then you see that I even, when I put down my the chipboard pieces, I used that as well. Now, as I said, I am using a combination of the Wild Heart and the Flourish collection, and I love the way the colors just go together perfectly. Now, there is more green in the Wild Heart, and I really love that. However, I'm not going to be using all that green. I'm going to be using a lot of the gold. And in this collection, there's a beautiful packet of these clear stickers, and they're all gold, and there's a lot of leaves on there. And I'm just going to be placing the leaves behind the flowers, and just to bring in some more of that gold. And that, darling, as I said at the beginning of the video, that title is a chipboard thicker from One Canoe 2, and it looks perfect there, and I really loved the pop of gold that gives as well. Now, originally I didn't think I would use this much gold on the layout, but it just morphed, and it just took on the gold sort of took over, and I just allowed it to take over. And I really loved the way this layout turned out. And I said in my previous video that I don't really have an issue with making a pink layout for boys or a blue layout for girls. And now you can see I really don't have an issue with doing a blue layout for girls. And I adore how this layout comes out in the end. I have a bunch of photos of her sitting on this chair, and we had to take a bunch of them to get the little pose that I wanted. So I think I'm going to go back into my camera and print out the rest of those photos and do sort of a pocket page, companion page to this layout. I'm using this collection as well with the blue and all of that. And And as you can see, I do use a lot of the chipboard elements from both collections and a lot of the leaves, and I just went with my gut with this layout. I didn't overthink anything. I just placed the things down and I left them there, and it's all the more I'm starting to trust myself more and more in scrapbooking. And I mean, goodness, I've been doing this for over 15 years, and you'd think that I've got it down by now. But being able to trust yourself and to know that if I'm placing this here, you know, it's going to look fine. Don't make an issue out of it. Don't take it off and put something else on there, and take it off and put something else on there. And it's something I've really been going through lately. And as I said, that I'm loving the fact that I've trusting myself a bit more in the last couple of months with how I do my scrapbooking, and I really like that. So this is it for this layout. Please go ahead and check out the Facebook Friends and Fans page for paper issues, and you'd be able to take part in all the wonderful challenges. Bye.